Hello and welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. I'm a licensed cognitive behavior therapist and a licensed mental health counselor. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. I would like to start by thanking my new subscribers, my old subscribers, and everybody who's taking time to watch my channel. The reason that I started this channel was to spread positive awareness for missing victims, domestic violence victims, mental health victims, and people who are suffering and who do not have a voice of their own. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the contents in this channel. And that would definitely help me to spread positive awareness. Today I'd like to go back in discussing a very important case that means a lot to me. Just like the Summer Moon Utawel's case that I've been working on since the 15th of June 2021 when Summer first went missing. This case that I'm going to be talking about is one of the cases that I actually started getting involved in YouTube and subscribing to many channels who do a beautiful job in spreading their awareness too. And when I started my own channel, because of this case was one of the reasons I wanted to spread awareness. This case is the case of the missing California city boys. It happened on the 28th of December 2020, right before Christmas holidays. There were two adopted parents who were married. The guy is called Trezell West, and the woman, his wife, is called Jacqueline West. They both are from Bakersfield, California. They have two children of their own. 10 and 11 years old, I believe at that time. They adopted two other children who were brothers, who were around 10, 11 too. And then finally in 2018, they fostered the two toddlers that are missing, unfortunately. The toddlers' names is Orrin and Orson West. That was the names the adopted parents gave them. But the original name of the toddlers that the mother, Ryan Dean, and their birth fathers gave them was Sincere with a C and Classic Pettis with a C. The California City boys were given to the care of the West couple to foster them, and the whole case is just shocking because the couple, when they adopted these two children and two other brothers, that would say 4 children was fostered first and then adopted later, and they had their own 2 children. That made them be parents of 4 children. That would say that the responsibilities of these 4 children. 4 children that are adopted and 2 children that they were own. That are their own biological children. So that we make it on the whole 6 children. Trezell was just 34 years old, while his wife Jacqueline was 31 years old back in 2020. According to the facts we have, none of these 2 parents was working besides working as foster parents and parents to their own children. On the 20th of December 2020, 5 days before Christmas, these 2 parents called California City law enforcement, the chief, John Walker, John Walker, was in charge of this case. They reported the boys missing. They came out with this lousy alibi and timeline saying that Cynthia and Classic, aka Orrin and Orson West, were playing out in the garden in the backyard. Giselle, the father, went to get some wood. He said he came back, he fetched some wood, and then he went back again. He said he saw the boys, and the next time he came back, the boys were not there. The whole story did not make sense at the start. Neither has it. It still doesn't make sense after 2 years either. Law enforcement from California City came down to their property in Aspen Avenue, and they conducted a search and put out an endangerment alert for Cynthia and Classic Pettis. That's Orrin and Orson West, aka. The reason that I prefer calling them Cynthia and Classic is because I do not believe that Trezell and Jacqueline deserve to be called parents, or they do not deserve to be even naming these two beautiful toddlers. Since they could not look after them, since they still do not have any answers what they have done to these two little boys, I don't think they deserve to be giving them any names. Furthermore, I think obviously everything is being investigated, and this case is going to the grand jury, like we are aware of. But I really believe that the CPS in Bakersfield, who handed over these two precious little souls to these two irresponsible people, should be part of the grand jury too. Because today I'm going to be honest and say my opinion, guys. This is for entertainment purpose only to start with. I don't understand how come CPS always dodges the ball. I'm not blaming it on CPS only. The government is the people the CPS works for. I do understand the CPS workers everywhere in the world are obviously there for a great reason, to help those children and other children in need. Just like we counselors, psychologists, therapists, psychiatrists, doctors are there to help patients and clients that need the help. I don't understand why a psychiatrist evaluation wasn't done for Trezell and Jacqueline West. The reason I say that is it doesn't make sense that a 31-year-old woman, Jacqueline, and a 34-year-old man, Trezell, who was discharged from the military for trauma, whatever, should have been getting these children. Because none of them had a job. None of them had any income to prove that they could be legally responsible for 6 children. So this whole story doesn't make sense. Unfortunately, Trezell and Jacqueline West came out with this ridiculous story that they went to fetch wood from the backyard, came in, and the boys were gone. I don't believe that children could just disappear like that. And then I believe, although I'm not going to be talking about the Summer Moon Utawells case today, I do intend to touch on that case a bit too, to compare it to the California City Boys' case. These two cases have a lot in common, if you'll have not noticed. And I personally said from the start, and I still believe, that Summer Wells's parents, Summer Wells's parents, Don Wells and Candice Bly Wells, must have watched Trezell and Jacqueline and come out with the same alibi. The only difference is they said that Summer was in the basement and she was gone. These said that the two boys were in the backyard and they were gone. That is the first thing these two cases have in common. Then the second thing the two cases have in common is the Wells and the West don't seem to be searching for the children. We have Don Wells, Summer Wells' father, talking about the resurrection, saying that he will meet Summer in the resurrection. Some people say that, it's because he's a churchman and he believes in God a lot, but we all do believe in God in some way or the other, most of us. And I personally believe that many people just use the God's name in vain. Because people assume that when we start swearing and swearing on God, that automatically we are building up our innocence. But that is not the way it works. Because I believe that if you are a cruel person and get rid of children, I do believe that you will be facing God one day and you will be judged for that. Because God is the creator of all these missing children and of us. But I just get a red flag when somebody keeps on using God and resurrection and the church like Don Wells was doing. And then you had Trezell West saying that the boys were rambunctious. From the very start, when we saw the interview of Sincere and Classic West, aka Oren and Orson West, it never made sense to us. It never made sense to anyone. Trezell was standing in a position where he looked very, very defensive. He had his arms crossed. Even the way, first of all, they got away with the right timing of COVID, so they both came geared up with their two masks. That wasn't even a normal mask. You could see they were covering up something. And the thing, strangely, that both these families, the West and the Wells, have in common is they both actually had the nerve to say, it was COVID, so we were trying to keep our children from other children so that they wouldn't get COVID or anything. That is strange enough. Candace said that. She said, I took Summer and Hunter to the other corner of the swimming hole because it was COVID. So she didn't want, apparently, Summer to get any kind of COVID. But strange enough, Candace did not mind taking Summer to a dirty, nasty, unsafe swimming hole. So she's thinking about virus, like she's thinking about the COVID virus. How come she wasn't thinking about the green, grey water, the filthy water we could see that could have had snakes or serious pests that could have harmed this poor little girl? So that is a sign both these parents should go in, I personally believe, for child neglection, number 1, child abuse, number 2, child endangerment, number 3, and whatever bad habits they have, they should be judged for that, like drugs, drinking, whatever is involved. Because we have Summer Moon Uta Wells, his mother, Candace Bly, that we never see sober. We can actually count the times you've seen Donna and Candace sober. They're either arguing, fighting, domestic violence, using the most nastiest language, and then they still call themselves God-fearing people. Wow! Don Wells had the nerve and the audacity to say that when he just hangs around with God-fearing people, church people. And the strange thing is, this is a fact. You can go back to the interviews and check. Robin herself said that Dawn and Candice were not members of the church. And they were going to the church for a year and a half. So I wonder, Candice and Dawn Wells, were y'all using the church as an alibi for your needs so that y'all could be looked at as holy people? We had recently, a couple of days ago, obviously on the 15th of June, it was the 1 year anniversary of Summer Moon Wells' missing case. I never saw Candice or Grandis, aka Candy Hera, sharing any awareness, making any special documentary for the daughter, coming and searching for the child, or in fact the most important thing, coming for the vigil prayer meetings. So whoever tells me, why are you being so harsh on the parents? I never swear, I never cuss at the parents. I'm more professional than that. I've been taught better not to put my personal feelings aside and never to cuss. But we can't ignore the fact that these two parents and this grandparent of Summer Moon Wells has never been searching for Summer. So that is red flag number one. Whoever believes that Summer just got gone, like Dawn said, or whoever believes that Summer was abducted, need to listen to what the sheriff said. The sheriff said, and the TBI said, that they don't believe our abduction happened. People on YouTube creators, public who have just gone to Tennessee to spread awareness for Summer, even Chris McDonough, who is extremely professional and has conducted excellent interviews and has visited the property, has said themselves that the property is not in a location that somebody could easily just get there by mistake. This abduction theory has never sat right for me when it comes to Summer, just like it's never sat right with me when it comes to the California City Boys. Now, coming back to the California City Boys' case, today I would like to summarize a bit about when the boys were reported missing. Like I said, it was on the 20th of December 2020. When the boys were reported missing, we didn't see Trezell or Jacqueline doing any searches for the boys. I remember from the start, because I was very involved in that case, like doing my own research. I did not have a YouTube channel, but I was doing my own research just to find out all the nonsense, because these are not one child, this is two children that Trezell and Jacqueline did this to. So I was following each and everything, whether it was a speculation, whether it was a rumor, whether it was facts, just to see what I could try and put together. We were always never sure of if the boys made it to California City, and now we're hearing from California City Law Enforcement, the defense attorney, Cynthia Zimmer, and from the California City Law Enforcement and the Chief, John Walker. we are hearing that the poor boys never made it out of Bakersfield. These people reported the boys missing on the 21st of January. They moved to California City towards the end of September, so that means the boys were long gone before that. The last time the boys were seen, if you'll remember, the neighbor said in Bakersfield, what was it called? Those estates that they lived in, La Cosoma. I can't remember, but y'all would definitely understand where the Wells lived before. And when they were in those estates, you clearly heard the neighbor saying that he used to make the children, Trizella used to make the children march like an army in a row. And they would like hide and go quickly inside the house, and they would just peep out from the windows. That is so hurtful and so sad. And then these people did it in COVID, so obviously many people got away with a lot of nonsense. But what I don't understand is CPS in California City, in California, in Bakersfield, who gave Cynthia Classic and the other two adopted parents to this family, should have monitored them. Because I don't know how it was in the United States, but I know in UK, everything was new in COVID time, but they were still trying to catch up. They were trying to monitor the people. They had home visitings in a very secure way, and they had what's it called? They had the phone meetings, virtual meetings, the Zoom meetings. There were so many things going on. Especially Trizella and Jacqueline were in charge of 6 children. So what did CPS do in that case? Did they drop the ball? Most likely they did. Just like CPS in Tennessee dropped the ball with Samamun Wells. Now we are still searching for the boys' remains, Cynthia and Classic. But these two devious parents had enough time to get rid of all the evidence. And so did Dawn and Candace. I'm starting to believe, and this is only my thoughts, guys, that possibly they had to have some gain with the children. So I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 children, Cynthia Classic, aka Orrin Olsen, and Samamun Wells, I won't be surprised if all the 3 kids were sold for human trafficking or for drug debts or for something else. Unless it was just simply foul play and they buried the children or got rid of the children far, far away from where they live. From day one, I used to always say with the Samamun Wells case that, remember guys, I used to always say, I don't think Samamun Wells is buried anywhere near the areas where the parents live. Because just listening, doing my active listening and listening to Dawn and Candace, for me it looks like they seem to be very comfortable, very confident that Samamun Wells wouldn't be found. And they seem to be very confident that Summer is long gone. That is the reason they're not searching. They can't even pretend to search. These 2 horrible parents. And the other 2 horrible parents, Trizelle, Jacqueline, and the Wells. And they're both sets of parents, the West and the Wells, were never in any of their prayer visuals that the public and the biological family held for the children. So when people write in the comments, everyone's entitled to their opinions, but when people try to discuss and argue and try to say no, the wells are innocent, I don't think so. Because if the wells were innocent, they would have been searching for their daughter, guys. I've given that example many times, like the most famous missing case in the world. That was actually from the country I live in, UK, although it happened in Portugal. The infamous case of Madeleine McCann, whose father is a heart surgeon and the mother is a doctor. Many people were blaming the parents, and I know why they were blaming them. It was definitely because they left the children unsafe while they were having dinner in the Tampa's restaurant. They neglected the 3 children. They were babies and they left them at home, and they were drinking outside. But still, the McCains stuck together as a couple. They never gave up their search for their daughter, and it's been 17 years today. And now they finally found Christian Brenner, the German guy, sorry to say, trigger warning, the pedophile who did it. And I can understand, because that case took a long time to solve, because when it happened in the early 2000s, there wasn't much technology. Now DNA is more advanced, forensics is more advanced, and many other things are advanced. And there's more resources in such cases. But still, Madeleine McCann's parents, Kate and her husband, never gave up the search for Madeleine. But the West and the Wells are not even pretending. They're not even pretending to search for Summer. So that is the biggest, massive red flag I will give them. And I will never feel anything less for them, especially the West. Thank you, California City law enforcement, especially Chief Johnny Walker. You did an excellent job. Thank you, Bakersfield law enforcement. You all did an excellent job. And thank you, defense attorney Cynthia Zimmer, and all the detectives who are still working hard to find Orrin and Orson's, aka Cynthia Classic, his remains, unfortunately. I hope that these 2 parents, the West, go down for murder. I really wish that even they got the death sentence. I've never said that before, but I'm being honest. Because this is nonsense that they got away for a year and a half. Until today, we don't know exactly what they did of the poor boys. Then you have their brother, Trezel's brother, Jamal Watkins, who was fresh with his mouth to say that all the social media is just out for him and his family. And his mother, Wanda West, was rude, cold, supposed to be a grandmother, showed no empathy or remorse for poor Cynthia Classic. Thank God justice is coming towards the end. I really hope that Wanda West, her husband Philip West, that's Trezella and Jacqueline's parents, and Jamal Watkins, the brother, I hope they all get charged. And I really hope that Bakersfield law enforcement and the defense attorney find some serious evidence on them. Because I personally believe that something happened to the boys and Wanda West and Philip West, the grandparents, were aware of it. And as for the Wells, I hope that we get closer answers to what they did to Summer. If Summer's alive, like I said, I really hope she's alive. She would need a lot of therapy. I really hope the West boys are alive. But the chances are very slim. Candace has just gone into hiding. Like she doesn't care. If she was innocent, why is she acting guilty? Dawn has tried to use excuse as the YouTubers and the social media has been really hard on them. That is the reason they're not doing, like they're not coming out or trying to help or whatsoever. All crap. I hate to say that, it's all crap. Don is the father of manipulation, the master of all lies possible. As for Candace, according to Allison, which I hardly believe her either, but according to many people, Candace will get drunk, get blasted every day after 5:30. Strangely enough, Summer Wells was reported missing 6:30. That would say 1 hour into Candace's drinking session. And then let's not forget you have Dawn, who said it to the Behavior Panel's interview. Like, share, and subscribe, guys, to them. They're excellent. He said it to Molly Golightly. Like, share, and subscribe to her. And he said it in other couple of interviews that he thought that it was 5:30, not 6:30. Strangely enough, 5:30 is Candace's drinking session. He said he was told later on that it was 6:30 by law enforcement. Even if the call was made at 6:30, why is Dawn Wells insisting 5:30, 5:30, 5:30? Did something happen at 5:30? We need to ask ourselves that question. What happened at 5:30 for him to be so sure? He said it in the Molly Golightly one. People can say he was drunk. He was clear as crystal. This couple is into so much domestic violence live on TV, with all the swearing and the black eyes they have, that it makes me start wondering if one of them hurted Summer on purpose or by mistake. Then they keep on saying that Summer was always barefoot. So if Summer was barefoot, did a snake bite her? Did a glass go through her leg? Did she get a bad infection? And how come Grandis Candy Hera, his story doesn't make sense either? Where was she in the timeline? Was Candice Hera with them in the swimming hole, or was she not? How come this is the second person missing in this family? Why aren't they putting pressure on their daughter and their sister, Rosemary's case? Don and Candice are professional criminals. This is not the first crime I believe they've done. And if they don't be put away, it won't be the last crime they'll be doing. Thank God that the 3 boys were taken from their crib. As a mental health counselor, that was the best news I've ever got. Those boys need all kind of therapies, from bereavement to trauma to neglect and emotional abuse. They may be out facing other mental illness that we're not even aware of, like ADHD. Don Wells had the audacity to tell the behavior panel that he gave all of his 3 sons, a pocket knife when they would go down to the creek. And then we clearly heard Don saying that Summer was the boss of the family. Summer would just come and hit the boys. And he takes it as a boast. I wonder if Summer, the poor little girl, hit her brothers, and the brothers are boys too, they're young children. If there's nobody supervising the 4 children, it could have gone bad. What if Summer hit the boys and the boys tried to use a pocket knife? Since this is not my words, this is Don's words. Don well said he gave them all pocket knives, guys. So anything is possible. I hope severe charges comes on the Wells and the West. I don't know how long a grand jury could give these people, but I hope they get the maximum sentence that they don't see daylight. I know some people will say, no, but that's unfair. We still do not have proof. You don't need more proof than seeing what is right in front of our face. The West aren't searching for Sincere and Classic, aka Orvin and Austin. The West are not searching for them. The Wells are not searching for Summer. They're not coming to any vigil prayer meetings. These 2 cases have a lot in common. And I really believe the Wells copied the West. I'm sure they sat and thought to themselves, okay, these 2 said that the boys were kidnapped, abducted from the garden. I won't be surprised if Dawn and Candace sat and thought about it in a drinking session and said, okay, you know what? We can't use the same excuse, so we will say, how about we say that they were in the basement and then she was gone. And let's put the boys in the role play. Let's say that the boys were watching TV and sleeping at the same time, which never made sense. And then I believe the Wells found out along the way, oh, this is going bad. We shouldn't have set the basement. So let's say Summer was seen last outside. And then Dom, the manipulator, the master of all lies, said, you know what? Let's put Summer's scent. Guys, this is for entertainment purpose only. I'm just thinking how they could have done it. Don must have said definitely, you know what? Let's say that somebody abducted Summer from the dog trail and put her in a vehicle and went off with her far, far away. And then you have Candace, on the other hand, saying somebody came and lured her and took her down the hill and took her somewhere far away. You don't see any empathy. You don't see any emotions. You don't see any remorse. You don't see any compassion. You don't hear any of these parents showing us pictures of their child, talking about their child, even telling us what color they liked, what they used to like to do. You don't see Summer Moon Ute Wells, his parents, going and visiting even. We'll take Don out of the equation for now since he's in jail where he belongs. Let's look at Candace. Why isn't Candace, why aren't you going and visiting your boys? Candace, why aren't you going to your therapist? Why aren't you going to your counselor? I don't even know why CPS told the Wells that they're coming to pick up the boys. To pick up Summer and the boys. They did tell her. So it's like giving someone the upper hand. Like, hey, I'm coming that date, that time. Obviously, it's if you're dealing with criminals, it's like a jackpot. You give them time to clean up. This is really sad. Really sad. And these 2 set of parents, the West and the Wells, need to go down. Least for neglection, for child abuse, for child endangerment, and for being disgusting parents, putting children, poor children, into this condition. And so the CPS, they need to, I think they're underfunded, or maybe the government isn't monitoring things, but CPS needs to do a better job. I hope these two cases becomes a very good example of things we should be working on and things we shouldn't be letting happen. I hope this is a learning lesson for Tennessee CPS. I'm going to be honest, and I hope this is a learning lesson for California City. Not California City, I'm sorry, Bakersfield, California CPS. We can't, and other CPS everywhere in the world, not only in the States, everywhere in the world. Children need to be better monitored, whether they're with their biological parents or especially when they're with their adopted parents. We should never be letting any person be adopting 4 children and having their own 2 children at such a young age in the early 30s without a job, without an income. Obviously, these people were, the West was making the little 2 boys their income. It was the paycheck. Paycheck. Why are we lying about that? That's the truth. And I'm sure they took the children far away, and buried them or whatever they did. I remember the witness in, where was it? San Diego? Tracy, San Diego, was it? Because that is actually where Jacqueline is from, her parents. I remember doing so much research about the 2 boys' case. And these are facts. She is from those areas. She's from Stockton, California. So if the witness that reached AV Watchman, like, share, and subscribe to him, this was in December 2020. The witness said that she was working in a grocery outlet supermarket in San Diego, and she said she saw Jacqueline, Trezell, and the 2 boys, and one of them's hand was a bit fractured. But then, allegedly, law enforcement said that they checked on those leads and it wasn't completely correct. There was another witness who said she saw them in Palmdale, California. She told that to Crenshaw. Please like, share, and subscribe to Crenshaw. You can watch that interview there. So there is many people who have allegedly seen the boys. But Summer Munu Terrell's, on the other hand, is a bit difficult. Because that is another case. I always said that since these 2 set of parents have a lot of the madness in common, it could be possible that Summer Munu Terrell's was reported missing on the 15th of June 2021. But she could have gone missing earlier, like the 14th. And the reason I say that is it does make sense. If Dudley John is telling the truth, I don't find any reason why he would be lying. He said that Don looked very he looked very destroyed on the 14th of June. The red Toyota Tacoma has been wanted. The person is a person of interest. The law enforcement just want to ask him questions. That was wanted on the 14th or the 15th, coincidentally. So something could have happened on the 14th and they reported it on the 15th. Maybe that's why it is a bit difficult for the timelines. Or even if it happened on the 15th, we would never know. Since the TBI law enforcement are obviously not sharing their information, and I don't blame them. I really respect them to the max. Because look at the California City Boys' case. As soon as this case became more like behind the scenes, although it took a year and 3 months, they did a wonderful job with it. So maybe we should give TBI, law enforcement, and Sheriff Ronnie Lawson some time to work on Samamun Utua's case. I believe they will come down to the bottom of it. But it's strange that not many people are coming forward, because the West's case, they have conducted, I think, over 16 searches, 2 or 4 searches out of California state. They've had over 200 interviews. They've had many leads and they've followed up on the leads. So that case, it's not that it got more attention. I believe that case got a lot of public pressure, which is very good. But I think law enforcement did an excellent job. And I think there were people actually who were willing to talk. That is what is sorting out and helping that case to move forward. But in Samamun Utuwel's case, it's so sad that there isn't witness coming out forward. And we don't know what is the reason yet. Then you have Jody Sue Brown saying that she heard someone screaming and yelling and it sounded like an animal. And then her son said that he heard the screaming too. So it's one of the two. Maybe they heard the screaming because maybe an accident happened to Summer, or maybe Candace came and saw Summer May in a fatal accident and maybe she screamed. But then, according to Sheriff Ronnie Lawson and the TBI, they have said that many times, that they do not believe that the scream is related to this case, to Samamun Utuwel's case. So I've always said from day one, Jody Sue needs to clear her BS. I'm not blaming her, but Jody Sue, I've always said from day one, I've said that before people were even paying attention to Jody Sue. I remember Jody Sue when she was collecting money in Christmas time. There was a period she was collecting for Summer's brothers, and right after that, she was crying and collecting money for her son. She said she needed to get her son out of state because many people were threatening him. Jody Sue, what was that about? Why were you getting your son out of Tennessee? Did your son do something? It's just a question. And then Jody Sue mumbles and chews up half of a word because I believe she has something to hide there. I'm not saying that Jody Sue did something to Summer, but I'm saying Jody Sue knows more than she's telling us. I think this is all a game that they planned. Candace and Jody Sue are pretending that they don't know each other well. Allison and Candace are apparently not talking, but then according to some people, they were talking up to the last minute. I remember Dawn saying in the Behavior Panel's interview, please like, share, and subscribe to them. Dawn said it clearly. He's been saying so many things about that interview. He said clearly that Allison and Hunter flipped. That was the word he said. They flipped on Candace. Strange choice of words. Then you have, as a mental health counselor, I do work a lot with ADHD children and adults. And ADHD, drugs, alcohol don't go together well. It's a bad combination. And he's a minor. He was just 14 years old. So when Candace was giving him drinks and drugs and alcohol and whatever, plus Hunter said he had no sleep that day. So imagine how many things could have gone wrong. We saw Hunter splashing water at Summer, and Candy said she told him not to do that. I wonder if he continued splashing water on Summer and a fatal accident happened. I wonder if these two people went somewhere behind the bushes or something and Summer drowned. That is child neglection and child abuse. Candy should be charged for doing this to a mental health victim who is suffering of ADHD, giving him drugs, feeding him with drugs and alcohol. That is shameful. So the grandma, she was the first to leave seat. Which grandmother runs away from her daughter when her grandchild is missing? She ran away because she was part of the timeline. She knew something that she didn't want to talk about. Either she did something, or maybe Dawn did something, or Candace did something, or the boys did something. God forbid. But Candy Heron knows exactly what's going on. And it's sad that none of this family are getting justice for poor Summer. I don't believe there's abduction. I believe they either sold Summer Moon to Wells, God forbid. Same with the West. I believe they sold the boys, or there was foul play and they got rid of the boys, and there was foul play with Summer and they got rid of Summer. There's no other way around this. This ain't a random abduction that just happened out of nowhere. I don't believe that. Hard for me to buy it. And like I said many times, the minute Dawn said, I'll see Summer in the resurrection, I knew automatically that he did something. And I really believe that. We will come to that day when we find out exactly what happened. They have no empathy. They have no remorse. They are not even searching. They're not even pretending to search for the children. It's so sad. I really hope they find the remains of Orrin Austin, aka Sincere Classic. Pettis. I hope they find Summer Moon Wells alive, hopefully. All three children, but even if they're not alive, may God bless them and may we get justice for them. Guys, please look after yourselves. It's summer, it's really hot and humid. Please drink plenty of water, take good self-care, look after yourselves, and let's continue the fight for these innocent children who do not have a voice of their own. Thank you, my subscribers. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, anyone who's taken time to watch this. I hope you'll enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye.